Salam alaikum. So I'll give you a brief introduction into my reversion to Islam. So I grew up in Ireland where everyone I knew was white and Catholic and there was no diversity. I didn't meet any Muslims till I was in my early 30s. I thought there was only one prophet because Prophet Muhammad is the only one mentioned in the media, so I knew really nothing about it. I started reading about Islam out of curiosity. And the more I read about it, the more I fell in love with it. And specifically the story of Prophet Muhammad and Lady Khadija, I just loved the story of them. Their love story, how she chose him when she could have had anybody. And that was really the basis. And when I started meeting Muslims, they were all Sunni, so there was no mention of the Ahlul Bayt. So there was no mention of the Prophet's family or the Imams. But everything I knew I read because the Majlis would be in Urdu and events, so everything I know I've read myself, and now I'm still learning every day, but it took like a really long time to get here. Like, I only started wearing my hijab last year, but now it's like second nature to me and I wouldn't ever think of not wearing it, but it's really difficult when you come from like a Western world because we're taught that like your hair is your crown and glory. But now, like, I love my hijab and I always want to wear it. And obviously, it's a big part of Lady Zainab's story. So my poem I'm going to read now. I think of Lady Zainab when I freely wear my hijab every day, while hers was ripped from her head. I think of Zainab when I have the freedom to do whatever idle tasks I like, while her hands were shackled like a criminal. I think of Zainab when I lose a materialistic possession, when she lost so much in one day. I think of Zainab when I'm scared to speak up, when she so courageously and eloquently spoke at Yazid's court. I think of Zainab's self-sacrifice of 2 sons because of her faith in Allah and knowledge in her brother Imam Hussein being the rightful leader by order of Allah. I think of Zainab and wonder what it must have been like to listen to someone speak who inherited all the virtues, piousness and endless qualities of the Messenger of Allah, Lady Khadija, the Commander of the Faithful and Lady of the Women of the World. I think of Zainab when I hear of injustices and oppression. How blessed we Shia are to know what happened in Karbala due to Zainab's fearlessness. I think of Zainab when I'm being shamed directly or indirectly for being Shia. I think of Zainab when I hear it said that Shia aren't real Muslims. I think of Zainab when other women have stood up against corruption and oppression and wondered, do they even know that over 1,000 years ago, a beacon of light shone directly on tyranny and injustice that has never wavered and still inspires Muslim women to this day. I think of Zainab's grandfather's speech in Gadir, where he advised never oppress people and never be oppressed, how his granddaughter became a voice of the oppressed, an unwavering support for truth and justice. I think of Zainab as a moral compass, an icon of courage. I think of Zainab, the lioness, daughter of Imam Ali, the lion of Allah. I think of Bibi Zainab and then her brother Hazrat Abbas. She carried the baton of hope by becoming the flag bearer of the Ahlul Bayt, thus carrying on the legacy of Rasulullah and spreading the message of Tawheed. I think of Zainab's quote, by God, I saw nothing but beauty and admire her faith. She lost her grandparents, parents, brothers and sons, and still she knew that Allah rewards all those who trust in Him and believe in Him. She knew that the horrific suffering her family had to endure would be met with the reward of eternity and happiness in Jannah. I think of Zainab when at the Majlis we hear of how the Imam cried in the plains of Karbala, is there anyone to help me? Is there anyone to support me? And Bibi watched her brother be slaughtered in front of her eyes. I think of Bibi Zainab when my heart yearns to walk towards Imam Hussein's shrine, chanting loud and clear, Labak ya Hussein, Labak ya Hussein. I think of Bibi Zainab often. Jazakallah.